Hi, Lexi. Thank you for the time to speak with me today. My name is Goeun, and I'll be conducting the interview with you today. Can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah. My name is Lexi Nguyen. I am 24 years old and I am Asian American, born and raised Washington State all of my life. Grew up around a lot of R&B music like Mariah Carey and Brandy, and as well as 80s pop and rock, like Madonna, Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson. So those became my musical influences, and that really drew me into the music world at such a young age. I remember listening to Mariah Carey's song We Belong Together when I was 5, and that really evoked a lot of heartfelt emotions within me. And it made me realize, oh my gosh, this is what I really want to do. I really want to sing and perform and connect with the audience and everyone else in the world. So that really propelled me to do school plays, even though I was really shy, really timid, really introverted as a kid. But music was that outlet to express myself and to open me up. And it really helped actually with my confidence and my self-esteem. And today I have 6 original singles. I have written the lyrics myself. I've sung all the harmonies and the leads myself. I've worked with different producers that are my friends from near and far. And I'm currently working on more feature music projects and doing more local gigs.
I know you, sorry. I know
No,
you
it's
gave
like a
me some names, but do you have any special, like, influential person in your life? And yeah, in your life.
Yeah, in my life, there's so many. I would say like definitely my family. I always think about, my grandparents from both sides of family. My dad's side, my mom's side, I'm Vietnamese. And my dad's side I call them Noi and Benoy. And then my mom's side I call them Wai Moai. And it was just both sides of the family immigrated during the Vietnam War in the 70s and adapting to a new life here. A lot of trials and tribulations. I think about that all the time because I'm like, wow, really fortunate and grateful for this life. I wouldn't be here. My brothers and I wouldn't be here without my grandparents or my parents, and just being really grateful for my Vietnamese heritage and my culture. I really think about that a lot, and that's something that I want to bleed into my music, is to express myself, put my Vietnamese culture, the Vietnamese instrumentation in my music and in my character, because that's just who I am. So I'd say family.
What's something about your music or personal story that you think sets you apart from other artists?
Yeah, I feel like it kind of connects to what I described for the earlier question about what what my what the majority of my music is about. What makes me different from other artists is I speak from a place of self-love, but I also speak from a place from a girl who has never experienced love yet. 24, and I've never dated anybody yet. Like seriously, I've gone on dates here and there. I feel like a lot of artists, like they have so much knowledge and experience when it comes to love and dating people. Like Taylor Swift, like she's known for that, like writing lyrics about her past relationships. And for me, it's like, no, I've only written lyrics here and there about guys I've gone on 1 to 2 dates with. So, and I know that there is a lot of women like me out there that's just like, man, I'm 24 as well, or I'm 16. I don't have a boyfriend yet. However, I don't sit in that place. I'm like, you know what? Let me empower people, not just ladies, but really everyone. Like, if you haven't dated anybody yet, that's fine. Everyone's on their own timeline, and it's okay that you're still single, because you're not really single. You're really dating you. That's a self-love place. And that I feel like that's about what makes me stand out. Another thing is I don't really like to use a lot of profanity or swear words. I feel like I want my music to inspire like young generations too. I remember there was this little girl, one of my supervisor's daughters. She came up to me after I performed a cover of Weak by Sisters with Voices, and she's like, Lexi, you're really good. I love to sing too. You really inspired me. And then she hugged my legs because she's so cute and tiny. And I was like, and that kind of got me emotional because I used to be that little girl looking up to people like Mariah Carey and wanting to hug them, wanting to be like, thank you for giving out your music and inspiring me. So yeah, as a whole, I'd say my music is very like positive. It sheds light on people who are single, wanting love, but they're not desperate for it, and it's okay being single. Right one will come along, and my music is also uplifting and fun and positive, but it can also go to darker places too.
What's a memory that always make you emotional when you think about it, if you have one?
Ooh, man. Wow, that's a deep question, Goeun. I would say like, yeah, okay, we can go personal with this. So my grandpa, my omwai, he passed away on my 21st birthday. And that was really tough for the whole family. My mom's it's funny because that day everyone forgot about my birthday that day. And even I forgot at moments that it was my birthday. And he passed away peacefully in the hospital. He was 83, 84. And I remember a few days prior, my mom video called me in and she said, can you sing for him? This is during the time of kind of late COVID. And I was like, okay, I'm going to sing his favorite song. And his favorite song is the national anthem. So I sang it to him. I was hanging out with my friends at this restaurant for my birthday, and I stepped away, sang it for him. And I was just in tears because there was wires attached to him. You know, in the hospital, they have wires and like a mask. He was in a comic state, so he couldn't really talk. But it's funny, when he heard me sing, he finally woke up. He opened his eyes and he like kept shaking, like he kept holding my mom's wrist. He was like, and I knew right then and there, he recognized that it was me. And so that was really touching. And the reason why my mom was video calling me in is because my grandpa, he lived in Texas. So, and then from that moment, I was like, you know what? I'm going to sing the national anthem for my college graduation for him. And even though I didn't really see my grandpa that often, I loved him so much. And I know he loved me and my brother so much. So singing even auditioning the national anthem and performing for college was emotional because I thought of him like really heavily. And I even told my mom that at her house, she has the box of his ashes. And in Vietnamese culture, we pray. We call it Goeun. Like, so I was doing that. I was praying to him. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make you proud. I'm gonna sing the national anthem, and this is for you. Yeah. So even talking about it just now, it almost makes me want to cry, like when I think about it. But yeah, it ties back to when I say family is an inspiration. So yeah.
What has been the most defining moment of your music career so far?
Wow. I'd actually say, can I say two of them? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so my first defining moment was when I decided to do my middle school's talent show when I was 14. This was exactly 10 years ago. And it's funny because in seventh grade, I signed up to audition for the talent show, but I backed out because of fear of like putting myself out there. So I was like, you know what, Lexi? No, I'm gonna push your little booty. I'm gonna tell you in eighth grade, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You love singing, okay? So I was torn between auditioning two songs, either Hopelessly Devoted to You by Olivia Newton-John or this Rihanna song. I think it's called We Found Love. She did that with Calvin Harris. I'm glad I went with Hopelessly Devoted to You. Felt like a better fit emotionally. If you know, it's from the musical movie Grease. And I practiced that every day for a month. And I remember my dad, he burnt me the CD of the instrumental. And I remember I took my backpack off and there's a thud. Put it in my strawberry shortcake CD player, and I practiced it. I did vocal warm-ups. I practiced it every day for 30 days. Comes the day of the audition. I'm listening to the song repetitively, and then I auditioned in front of a art teacher, the Spanish teacher. They were the two judges. And then I just belted my heart out. And the funny thing was the audition was in the cafeteria, so it's very echoey. So you could really hear like the frequencies of my voice bouncing off the walls. And then afterwards, the Spanish teacher, she cried. And she's like, have you ever dated anyone before? I'm like, no. Okay, anyways. Yeah, the song is about like yearning for your boyfriend that you kind of broke up with, and like even though you two are separated, you're hopelessly devoted to that guy. So even though I've never dated, I was like, I have to sing with emotion. So I sang from that place. And so I think that's why she cried. And I was just super touched. I was like, that was my first time moving somebody emotionally with my performance. And then the talent show was a month later. So I practiced for another month. And it's funny because my parents have never heard me really sing a solo song. They've seen me in plays. And I was really nervous. I remember like my whole body was shaking. But then I went out, I sang anyways. My hair was down to my butt. Wearing a blue dress. And I got a standing ovation. And I was like you can see me in the video, like I'm holding my mic and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I got this like overwhelmingly positive response. And I remember my mom and dad, wow, I didn't know you could like sing. So, I used to be kind of, there's a Vietnamese term called like embarrassed, like I was a little bit of that. But yeah, and then that was a pivotal defining moment because it taught me, okay, yeah, I can go out there and perform. I can do it. I'm not the shy girl that I used to be, where she was just singing alone in her room. So that propelled me to do more open mics and more gigs to this day. So I'm really proud that I put myself out there. Second defining moment would have to be releasing Floating on Air. That one was an unexpected one because I wrote the song when I started college. High school is, it was all right. But starting college, being like, this is a new experience, making new friends. My confidence at the time was like really super high. And I was really riding off of that high when I wrote Floating in Air in like 2 days. And then my cousin Sophia, her friend Tony, messaged me on Instagram because Sophia posted a video of me singing on Thanksgiving. And he said, I'd love to work with you. And then at the time I used to post full videos of me on YouTube singing my original music. And he said, I like Floating in Air the best. And I was like, what about that? Can we do my other song? And he's like, no, I have a good feeling about this one. Trust me. And I was like, okay, fine. Let's see where this goes. He sent me the instrumental and I was like, I'm in love. This is amazing. My dad and I, we drove all the way to Kent to work in his studio, and I got to record the vocals there too. And at the time I was 19. And then that's when I started to learn about how to release music on Spotify and on streaming services. Learned about DistroKid, released it worldwide, and then I decided to do a music video, which was funny. I didn't intend on doing a music video. I wanted to do a visualizer, and that means that somebody would just film me just frolicking in the sunflower fields, and I'm not lip syncing. But then my friend's like, so we're gonna do the music video today, right? He misinterpreted what I said, but I decided to go along with that. In my head, I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So we filmed on his iPhone. The whole music video was shot completely on the iPhone. I went home, edited it on my little Android with my little pen, my Galaxy Note pen, and then it turned out really professional. A lot of people to this day still ask, wow, was there like a whole crew, a whole team? I was like, no, just the phone. So definitely another pivotal moment with Split Air, because it inspired me to release more music publicly and do more music videos.
I think this might be the last question. What legacy do you hope to leave behind as an artist?
What I hope to leave behind is letting people that look like me, other Asian boys and girls, letting them know that it's okay to be seen, to be heard, to be loved as you, being authentically yourself. And another legacy that I hope to leave behind is you can never go wrong with loving yourself and respecting yourself and putting yourself first, filling up your own cup. And once that's overfilled, you can bring out that and put that love with your loved ones and the important people in your life. And I hope that my music does that for people and helps them go towards that place of vulnerability, not run away from it. And because some of my future music, I see that as integrating more Vietnamese instrumentation, potentially singing in Vietnamese too. I hope this really inspires other people who are Vietnamese like me, or people who want to sing in their own culture's language, to do that and express themselves that way and be proud of that, not just singing English, even though singing English is fun too. Yeah.
Then how do you draw inspiration for your lyrics or music videos and rhythms on Gen?
Yeah, so for my lyrics, the funny thing is when I'm writing, it's just more about what I've experienced. When there's an emotion behind the lyric, it easily drives me to get it done faster. Mm-hmm. If I feel like, oh, I have an idea, and it's about, for example, if I've watched the show Bridgerton, you've probably heard of that show, super popular, and the two characters are enemies to lovers, it's like, okay, I would love to write about that, but I've never experienced it. So I try to step and be empathetic, step myself into their shoes and just be a storyteller, right? An observer. And then in terms of what sonically I'm inspired by, it's really just 80s pop, Vietnamese pop like Min. I love what she's doing in Vietnam. She's even had some English singles too. So studying how she puts Vietnamese traditional instruments in her pop music. And I love Mariah Carey. I loved her since I was a kid. What I said earlier, love her album, The Emancipation of Mimi. That's been such a sonically beautifully created album and inspiration for me, for my music. And then another aspect I love is 80s, passionate rock ballads and pop, like Taylor Dayne's Love Will Lead You Back. I think that's one of the ultimate epitomes, in my opinion, of that decade, like 80s music, that raw passion, the rasp, the huskiness in her voice. And so that actually inspired a bit of You Got Me with the guitar, the intro and outro. So yeah, but I'm always wanting to experiment and go outside of what I'm listening to, always trying to absorb new things and add that into my music.
You mentioned that the producer asked you to finish the song. What is your creative process like when composing a new song or writing a lyrics?
Yeah, so I play a chord progression that feels right to me. If the emotion is, for example, if it feels happy, then I'm okay. I'm gonna write happy lyrics, and then I think about what have I experienced today, or what have I experienced in the past, or what books have I read, what movies have I seen, what experiences sometimes from other people's life can I write about? And I start writing, and that usually takes me 3 days max just to get the verses and the chorus down. And then I hit up one of my producer friends and I say, hey, this is something that I have. And I send him a video recording of me playing the piano while singing it. And then I go into the studio with the producer and I tell him or her, for example, when I worked on the song You Got Me, I worked with this producer named Josh Richens. I told him, okay, this song is about being attracted to somebody for the first time at a party, and you don't really know each other, you're strangers, so you develop like this crush on each other. And I told him the production needs to be dreamy, it needs to emanate those emotions. So he's like, okay, sure. And so he even let me experiment on the piano and do some of the instrumentation. And my thought process is the production is just as important as the lyrics, because the two and two really go together. I can't just go into the studio and say, I just want this beat, I just want this melody, that's it. There's always an emotional integrity and meaning behind it, and that's what I always do. I always dive deeper and deeper when I'm creating a song with somebody else.
How would you describe a majority of your music and the message behind it?
I'd say the majority of my music, in a holistic umbrella sense, would be songs that are empowering, songs about self-love. I've even written songs that are more romantic, but it still goes to that place of empowerment, being like, hey, even though, like, for example, my song That Kind of Love, it's about me not really having much dating experience and not having a boyfriend yet. So I could have stopped there, but instead I was like, I wrote the lyrics. Don't get me wrong, I'm good with just me, but if that special someone comes along, I won't be obliged to say no. I'm really teaching my ladies here that you don't need to wait for a guy. You don't need to sit there and be like, when is he coming? When is he coming? You just focus on you. You're your own best friend. You got goals, aspirations, and dreams. Go for it. The right guy will come along. And my song Floating in Air, it's about self-love. It's about not anyone needing to validate you. I also have a song called Being and Becoming. There's the cultural aspect, because I'm Vietnamese. I talk about my perspective being Vietnamese American, balancing my American side, balancing my Vietnamese side. Sometimes that can be hard. And I know other minority people like me can relate, especially people who are here, who are born in America. And then the other perspective, like my Noi, my Benoy, and my Boy, and my mom and dad, their perspective of immigrating from Vietnam to here during the Vietnam War and facing those hardships. But then the commonality between those two perspectives is appreciating our culture, our love for our culture, being proud and standing in that. So my songs, it always goes to that place of positivity. Now there's some exceptions like State of Ophelia, where it's more like, it's about overthinking and it's me questioning, will I ever get out of those piles of thoughts? Yeah.
You mentioned about Fever, music video Fever. Can you tell us the process of making that song and the music video?
Yeah. So it's such a cool serendipitous thing that happens because I didn't really try to chase this opportunity. It came to me. It was one night on March 17th. I remember this date exactly. My dad, he was still overseas in Vietnam doing business over there. He messages me on Facebook. He's like, "Hey, I know a producer that would love to work with you." And I was really excited, but also kind of nervous because I've never worked with a producer before. And so, flash forward to August 2017 when I was 16 years old. My whole family and I, we flew to Vietnam, and I met a producer, and his name's Benjamin James. He talked about, Lexi, what do you want in your music? And I said, I want deep, heartfelt lyrics that are a little more on the sad side, but I want the production to be very upbeat, very fun. So the next day, my dad and I, we headed to the studio, and Ben says, "Hey, I already have a song that I started writing with you in mind." I was like, "Sure, can you show me it?" And it was Fever. And he's like, "But Lex, I need help writing the rest of it. Do you want to help me with that?" So it was my first time dabbling in songwriting as well. And Fever, Ben and I, we wanted that to emanate a lot of deep emotions, meaning Fever is about healing through vulnerability, leaning on others, leaning on your family members, your friends, your loved ones for support, because you can never go through hardships alone. But then production-wise, when I was with Ben in the studio, I actually showed him a lot of fun 80s inspired K-pop songs like Girls' Generation song All Night. I showed him a disco song by Billin. He is a British DJ and producer. So I showed him a lot of different genres meshed it together, and that's how the funk, neo-soul, and 80s sound was created. It was 5 hours of me recording in the studio, and it was my first time in a studio. So Ben was like, "Oh, can you do it again?" And I'm only imitating him because he's British. And it was really fun stacking harmonies and doubling my vocals. And then the song was finally finished and sent to me when I was actually studying in my local library near my house. And I was studying for my history test. And he's like, "Okay, Lexi, it's finally done." And I listened it to the first time and I cried because it's just the first song that I've ever made with somebody else. And I thought it just touched my heart. And it's something that I've been dreaming about. And then as for the music video, flash forward, let's say 5 years later, met up with my friend Danny and his boyfriend Josh. We brainstormed what I want for Fever. I wanted one warm tone shot where I'm wearing a turquoise dress, yellow background. It emanates like the lyrics burning for your love, like that summer fever heat, since I released Fever this past summer. Another scene where I'm singing in a karaoke room and Fever's in the background. I was inspired by I Love You Like a Love Song by Selena Gomez for music video because she also was singing with her song in the background. And then the third shot where I'm literally pop star and there's mini disco balls and blue background behind me, and I'm like, yes, this angle, and I remember just flipping my hair so many times, and sometimes it landed in my mouth, and I was like, okay, we're not doing that, because the fan kept like, so I was like, yeah, and I released that a month ago, and it's generated pretty positive reviews, and it was really fun making it. It only took 3 days.
Did you encounter any challenging moment about songwriting process?
Oh, yes. I call it songwriter's block. And I notice that I encounter the songwriter's block if I overthink it too much. Or let's see. When I was writing State of Ophelia, that song is about overthinking, but I took it as an extended metaphor from the character Ophelia from the Shakespearean play Hamlet. That's one of my favorite plays. It's more of a tragedy. And I was overthinking. It's funny. I wrote a song about overthinking, and I was overthinking writing the song about overthinking. Oh my goodness. What a mouthful. But the irony. But I wanted the song to sound poetic, but not make it too abstract and confusing, where the listeners are like, what is she saying? Like, this is 2020. Like, this is not, that's the time I wrote it. This is not like 1875. So I was just like, oh, I was like teeter-tottering. I was like, okay, I need to find that fine balance. And because I was thinking a little too hard about it, it took me like more than a week to write that song. So I'm now telling myself, because your thoughts create your reality, I'm always saying, you know what, Lexi, don't overthink it. You just write it. Put it out, write the whole thing, and then the next day you just edit what you can. Yeah.
Then is there a particular strategy or mindset that helps you stay grounded and focus on the music development?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, if the more that there's an actual intention or emotion behind it, it drives me to get the song done faster, not because I just want to get it out of the way. It's because, like what I said earlier when I wrote my song that's unreleased called One in a Million, I was so angry at the guy, and I was like, I'm just gonna channel all of this anger and rage elegantly, might I add, into the song, into the lyrics. So yeah, it's just that deep emotional thing that I felt, which I feel like gets the song done faster. Sometimes there are songs where I've written where it's halfway and I just let it go because intuitively in my gut, it didn't feel right for me to finish. If I notice I'm pushing myself and I'm going to waste my time, let's write another song that's more suited to what I'm going through in my life.
Then what kind of feedback do you value most from listeners or industry professionals?
Yeah, so I actually got really good feedback from Anthem, the producer that I'm currently working with. He told me, he's like, Lexi, you need to open up your voice before we record a song. Can you sing me a song? So I was like, sure. So I sang him 2 songs. When I sang If I Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys, he's like, he's like, I need to really feel the passion from your voice, even when you're not on stage. Because I thought, okay, I'm just gonna sing for people when they ask me to sing, but when I'm on stage, I'm gonna go all out. And he said, no, you have to go all out every time you sing, even when you're in the studio. So he's like, he told me that I'm like an actress. I have to express myself with my face and my body. Because he's like, Lexi, don't just sit there and just sing. You gotta just feel the music. So that's something that I'm now really integrating with when I'm practicing, like, for my gigs at my studio. Another thing that I really value from feedback wise is like always on my voice. I know my vocal technicality, it's gotten better over the years, but I know I can still improve on like my breathing coordination. And so my vocal coach, Pete, he's like, make sure you take those really deep, he calls it triple breaths. He's like, make sure you breathe super deep because you don't want to pull from your throat and strain there because otherwise my voice is going to be damaged. So I don't really take it personally because I'm so passionate about this. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Like, growth mindset. You know, why would I not want to be better in my career?
If you could collaborate with any artist, past or present, who would it be and why?
I thought of 2 people immediately. Pharrell Williams, the Neptunes, or Timberland. Pharrell Williams because the time he was part of this production group called the Neptunes with this other guy, and he helped Justin Timberlake with Rock Your Body. That's his song. He helped Mariah Carey's song Say Something. That's actually one of my favorite songs from her. And I really like the unique way that he flares the R&B sound. And it's not like typical R&B that you hear these days. And so I really want to recapture that sound. So it's my dream to sit in the studio with him and work on the productions of the song with him together. And then Timberland, because I love what he did with his song Promiscuous with Nelly Furtado. His beat making is excellent and top tier. It's so unique, once again. And I would love to integrate those type of unique beats into my music. And let's see, last artist I'd love to collaborate with would definitely have to be like my Queen Mariah Carey or Ariana Grande, just because they've influenced me really heavily when it comes to my voice and my sound.
Can you tell us about any upcoming projects? I know you mentioned new song or releases that you're excited about.
Yeah, I'm currently working here and there in the music studio with a producer named Anthem and songwriters named Nisi and Nick. It's really a first for me, and it's something that I've always dreamed about, being in a room with other creatives. And so we're working on some songs. I won't say what specific type of songs because people have to tune in and find out. And I'm also performing for Winterfest, which is a Christmas winter event in Seattle. I'm going to be doing a 40-minute set, which is a first for me. So I'm going to be performing around 10 to 12 songs that are my original songs and some Christmas cover songs too.
Okay, if you could travel back in time and give your younger self one piece of advice before starting your music career, what would it be?
I'd say I would tell younger Lexi that it is more than okay to be yourself. It is more than okay for people to perceive your authenticity and see that when you're singing or performing. I remember, what was it? I think I was like 12 years old, and my mom and my brothers and we were at her friend's house, and my mom's friend wanted to hear me sing, and my mom was like, "Can you sing? Can you please sing for her? My friend wants to hear you." And I was like, "No, I'm too shy." And my mom's like, "Wait, don't you like singing?" And I was like, "No." And I would tell her, like, it's okay for people to hear your voice. That's you, okay? That is who you are. That's part of your outlet or expression.
Then do you have any piece of advice that someone gave it to you that stuck with you for all these years?
Ooh, that's a great question. There's so many. My goodness. Yeah, I would actually have to say my former supervisor, Jaira. Shout out to Jaira. I love her. She was my former supervisor when I worked at Campus Events Board at my former university. And she wrote me a letter congratulating me on graduating college the past few months ago. And she said that along the lines of, don't get too lost in your career, Lexi, or get lost in recognition or making money. Like, know that you are worthy because just who you are, and try to find quality time within yourself that has nothing to do with your career or doing things or being productive, because that really taught me a lot, because I used to be hard on myself at times to be like, I have to get this done. But at the end of the day, I realized, you know what, Lexi, you are worthy. You can wear no makeup. You can lose your voice. You can lose your money. Anything external, it's like, it doesn't validate me. It's a part of my life, but it doesn't fulfill my worth. So really grateful for Jaira for that.
What advice would you give to your younger girl struggling with life issue or challenges?
I'd say don't go through it alone. Don't self-isolate. I re I kind of still do this a little bit to this day where I'll like tend to self-isolate sometimes because I'm afraid to be vulnerable. But I would tell young girls like tell your mom or dad if you're going through something. Or if you feel like they invalidate your emotions, then tell the trusted. Maybe I've heard stories where younger girls have told their hardships to their teachers or even their friends. Leaning on your loved ones, leaning on the right people, leaning on the community, because you should never go through anything alone. And there is a point where, yes, you take accountability and you learn from it, and that's where introspection ensues. But just lean on your people, I'd say.
Okay, next question. What's the most rewarding aspect of being an artist for you?
For me, it's really connecting with other people through my music. I've had people come up to me and say, Lexi, floating on air made me feel better because you wrote about what it means to love yourself. And that touches my heart. Really like uplifting people through my music and letting them know that it's okay to cry along to my song if you want to, if it's more of a sad song, or if it's an upbeat song, you're more than okay to dance along to it, even when nobody's watching. And because I was so shy and so introverted as a kid, and music was that way to open me up, I hope to do the same with my music for other people who feel like that they're left out from the crowd. Because I felt like that a lot as a kid when I was really shy. I felt like, why do I feel left out all the time? It's hard for me to make friends. So I hope my music can serve as their best friend and their emotional support. And I don't even care about the recognition or the money. It doesn't validate me. I always think about the art and the craft and the emotional integrity behind my music first.
If your music were a color or mix of colors, what would they be?
Ooh, there's a really cool, like gnarly musical term for this, but I forgot what it was. Anyways, I would say pink is one of them. It's also one of my favorite colors. Literally, my whole room is pink. Like it's pink. So, Floating in Air is definitely a pink song. Another color would have to be like light blue. That kind of love is light blue. Sometimes my songs can go in a more passionate place, so that could be gold and red. And then purple if it's more flirtatious. So, yeah.
Lexi, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food? That's really hard because I'm not a picky eater. Okay. Well, since I'm Vietnamese, my favorite food has to be, man, this is hard. My favorite Vietnamese food would have to be mee Guang. It's a Vietnamese noodle soup dish. Obsessed. It has pork, tamarind broth. I think it's a pork-based broth. Has yellow tamarind noodles. There's these rice crackers that you can dip the broth in. There's banana. I think it's banana leaf. There's like bean sprouts. It's just healthy and delicious. And there's like kind of a tomatoey taste to it too. Oh man, I also love honey walnut prawn shrimp. That's my family is always like, yep, that's Lexi's go-to. I love dim sum. I love Alfredo pasta. And I love anything avocado, like avocado toast. There's a Vietnamese avocado shake that I really like. You just mix it with condensed milk and ice. Yeah, but I'm such a foodie though. I'm not so picky. I love everything.
What do you like to collect and why?
Uh, K-I-T-T-Y, Hello Kitty. Yeah, that's the theme song. Uh, Backstory to it. My mom, when I was 4 years old, she gifted me my first Hello Kitty. I still have her in my room. She's wearing a pearly pink shirt, purple overalls, and a purple bow. And when I saw her, I was like, I'm not letting you go. This is you are my childhood in one little plushie. And I'm 24, so if you do the math, I've been collecting her for over 20 years. And I have 100 mini plushies in my room. There's like 4 shelves of them. And at my mom's house, I have a room over there too, and there's even more Hello Kitty over there. So I tell my friends like, oh, they always ask, they're like, okay, we get that you like Hello Kitty, but, and I was like, hey, if you get me Hello Kitty Band-Aids, I'm literally so happy. Like, y'all don't even know. So I think I'll love her till the day that I die because she's that one piece from my childhood that will live with me forever. Like, she really brings out my inner child. So, and because Hello Kitty, she represents cuteness and innocence and happiness and youth and community. Yeah, so I love her a lot.